once again. Again. Once again.
So we currently have a Tesla Model S in for a full ceramic protection with total surface protection. It's going to have Crystal Serum 7-year. The car has been completely resprayed. Customer mentioned to Tesla that he wasn't happy with the finish. There was still quite a lot of orange peel that he wasn't happy with, and therefore Tesla basically said, not a problem sir, we will respray the car, we'll correct the problems for you and we'll get it back to you. So this has had a full respray. It has been machined or detailed according to Tesla, but there are still some defects in the paintwork, and if I can try and get those, there you go, there's one there. We have a number of these on the bonnet, and what that actually is just when we do a heavy cut, you end up with a haze. So these have probably been sanded down and machined, but not fully refined out. So if you look, it's very, very dull in certain patches. And there's one there, another one there, one at the top of the bonnet here. There's a little blemish, slightly deeper scratches. Just, oh come on light, let's see if I can actually get to it there. Just where the light is now, but this bonnet is so big I'm having to really stretch to reach to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of tests. I think we're going to have to do a two-stage on the bonnet to cut out through some of the deeper scratches, the deeper marks. There is swirl marks in the paintwork as well, which obviously is very typical, but they're not too bad. The rest of the car is pretty good. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get quite a lot done, to be fair. So we're going to do all of the machining today. We're going to apply Crystal Serum, we're going to apply EXO, we're going to remove the wheels, we're going to coat those with C5 wheel armour inside the barrels. Yesterday was the cleansing process, the clay bar, the safe wash process, and Sam, bless her, has wet vaxed all the mats, which have been sat on here overnight to dry out, and they will then get coated with smart fabric. Key things on this that we have to be very careful of is jacking points. We must make sure that we use the correct jacking points because all the batteries in a Tesla sit across the bottom. If you jack it in the wrong position, the chances are you'll rupture one of the batteries. And what the customer told me is that if you do rupture a battery, it will actually catch fire, and we don't want that, especially with a car this good. I think this is the 4th Tesla that we've had in now. Things that you should note if you're a detailer: the bonnet. All the bodywork's aluminium, but the bonnet, as it's so big, flexes slightly. So when you're closing the bonnet, not to incur any damage, you don't want to touch anywhere up here. You want to touch this point and that point and push down at the same time with both hands simultaneously to give a good closure to it. So we'll try and do as much video footage as we can on this one, and we'll show you the transformation after we've corrected some of those defects.
You can't wait on other people to be what you've been called to be. You can't wait on their affirmation. You can't wait on their approval. You can't wait on their support. Sometimes you just got to run and look behind you and say, everybody who wants to run, run, but I can't stop running because you're not running with me. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life won't chase it with you. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're going to have to do it all by yourself.
So I've just done the light refine. If we have a look now, and you kind of go across, so that was kind of the reference point as to where the haziness was. It's very difficult because it's not focusing perfectly on the light, but if you look here, you get focused, there we go. That is now much better. There is a slight mark here, and there are a couple of light scratches as well, but ultimately paintwork is now much clearer. There's far more clarity to it, and what I've done is I've masked off this section between so that when I take that tape off in a second, you'll see the difference between the two. So I've taken the masking tape off. This is the side that we've done, and this is the side that still needs to be addressed. You can see there's still cloudiness there, and then come here and it comes very clear. There's a lot more clarity. Now there are a couple of minor scratches in the paint, which just one there, we go across, you see it's nowhere near as bad as that kind of like haziness. That shows it quite well there. Go back across to here, that's a lot clearer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do another pass. Now what I'm trying to avoid doing is a heavy cut across the whole car, because it puts the cost up, but not only that, the paintwork has already had heavy amounts of work on it as it stands, and the paint readings aren't giving it as the thickest amount to work with. So we don't want to go too crazy. So this has obviously been resprayed, it's been flattened back, and then it's been machined once already by Tesla. And we now need to basically bring it to the next level, is the best way of putting it, but do that safely. Now this is going to have Crystal Serum 7-year coating on there to protect it, which is then going to fortify the paint anyway. So if we can get it to the right level that I would be happy to put the coating on, then this car will be back to the customer, hopefully, and it'll be late today, but it will be back today. So we've just gone to mask off the tailgate spoiler, which is carbon fibre. I think you can probably even see it from here. When the car, this area has been previously polished by the dealership or whoever did the paintwork repair to improve the quality of the finish, this edge here has not been masked off. So what you're ending up with is you've got a gloss finish to the edge of what should be a matte spoiler. See if we can show it any better in there. There, so you get like that. This edge here, this edge here is glossy, and the rest of it is matte. I wonder if that is also the case. No, underneath doesn't look too bad, but over the top definitely. Even using kind of, come on, focus. even using the light on the wall there, you can see that this lip is really glossy. So I'll have a word with the customer and ask him what wants to do. The option we've got is, we've got to mask this off to do this bit anyway, but we could polish over the whole of it to even out the gloss so the finish is the same, but we'll see what he says. Front bumper of the Tesla, just giving it a wipe down after going over with the light refine. Don't know if you can see that, but here, a little denibbing mark where it's been sanded. It's just this area here. And you go back to the rest, it's quite clear. You get to there and it's a nasty little mark, so I have to do a heavier cut on that, get that refined out and make it look gorgeous.
Once again.
There we go, mark removed. Just left a little bit of a haze there. And we'll refine that out. Ultimately, no more sanding marks.
Once again. Again.
Tesla machine polishing, all done. But it took a heck of a lot longer than we anticipated. Something that we couldn't really calculate was how the paint reacted when we were doing the work. So with a ceramic coating on a car, we base it on, and as this had just had a respray, we base it on a single stage machine polish. In this case, when we were doing the single stage, we started to see extra defects. Now we knew about the ones on the bonnet. I showed that earlier in the video where we had that kind of cloudiness from like a heavy cut. But when we started doing the light refine, just to remove some hazing and a few swirls from the side, it didn't respond the way we wanted. Now we experience this sometimes with car paint. Ford, very common. You'll find that the paint is very soft, and you'll experience a situation where the machine polisher going over the paint, even with a soft pad and a soft polish, will then introduce damage. That was quite similar in this case, but then different panels reacted differently. I've never had this on a Tesla before, and this is about the third or fourth that we've actually worked on. It could be something down to this particular colour, because this is the first time we've had this particular colour paint in. but we've now managed to achieve, and as you can see, a really good level of finish to the gloss. So it's already 7:10 on a Friday night, and I've already had one phone call from the wife. So I think we'll leave it there for tonight. We'll tuck this away, and then I'll come in on Saturday, do all the coatings, and the customer's more than happy to wait until about 6 o'clock before they pick it up. Hoping everyone's enjoying their Friday, and we'll pick this up tomorrow. Tesla Model S now complete. Took a lot longer on this one than we anticipated. Paintwork was very difficult to work with, extremely soft in some areas, and it took a lot of work with different combinations of pads and polish to be able to get the finish that we wanted. Hence the reason the car is a day late going back to the customer, but they were very understanding to this because they wanted to get the best finish achievable. Unfortunately, my handheld scan grip has just died, so I can't do a close-up, but I did take a few close-ups earlier, and I'll include those after this video. Ultimately, the car is now fully protected, the glass, the wheels, the bodywork. The only thing the car is going to come back for is for the wheels to be removed and inside the barrels done. It's the one thing that we couldn't do, mainly due to the fact that our jack we have would have caused an issue with the jacking points, which are right on the edge here, and I didn't want to risk the plate from the jack catching any part of the bodywork and incurring any damage. So it's a very simple process to put the car back in and just whip all the wheels off, and we're going to try and get some custom chocks or jack blocks to fit underneath these that we can use in future when we have any other vehicles in. Other than that, I'll do a quick walk around and you can admire the finish of the paint. So onto the interior. The interior has been cleaned as well. Really love these like purple illumination lights, and I do believe you can change all the colours of those. They're sort of down there in the door handles. And what have we done here? So we've leather treated, we've cleaned and leather treated all the leather in the car. So the steering wheel, the seats, any parts of the centre console. The dash has been wiped down and sealed with C6 matte dash. Any of the plastics have been treated. The door cards have been addressed and treated. The fabric to the mats, oh, a little bit of dust there got in. That's all been dealt with as well. And I say we've gone down here and treated all the carpet. So it's now 11:20 on Sunday, and yes, we are normally closed on a Sunday, but we had a slight issue last week. On Thursday, we should have had a Range Rover Sport HSE dropped off for a new car protection detail with Gtechniq Crystal Serum and XOV3. Had a call from the dealership very late on Wednesday to basically say there was an issue and the car needed to spend a further 2 days in the workshop. Not ideal, but obviously as the customer's keen to get the car, and we have a very heavily booked week next week and the week after, we decided that we'd do whatever we could to meet the customer's deadline of picking the car up on Monday. Yesterday we delivered the Tesla Model S, which you've just seen in the video, and today and yesterday I made a start on the Range Rover. We did the safe wash, the decontamination, the panel wipe to all the bodywork, the inspection of all the panels for any damage. And on this occasion, the vehicle only does need a single stage. It's the sort of thing that I would ideally want to spread over 2 days, but as I said, we're working to a time scale. I decided that we're coming on Sunday, get the machining done, get the coatings done. It's actually not having any of the interior treated. We're literally doing a basic clean on the interior, removing all the protective films and all the covers and everything that were put on the car when it was shipped from the factory. And all that's going to happen on the outside of the vehicle, I say all that's going to happen, is we'll have Crystal Serum, which is the 7-year coating from Gtechniq, which is that one there. It'll be topped with XOV3, and then it's having the glass done with G1, and the wheels are being done with C5 wheel armour. Something I started using recently after doing a matte application of a different brand product to a DS3, which featured either in the previous video or at the start of this one. I haven't quite got around to doing all my editing yet, so apologies if it's not in this video. It'll be in the previous one. And I started using these. This is a foam block with like a cushioned padding on the bottom of it. It works very, very well. And what you do is you use a little cloth applicator like that. You put that round the block and then the product across it. Now this was designed for a different brand of product, but I thought it would be quite good to try it out on the Gtechniq products to see how well it applies. I have to say I'm really impressed, so I've ordered a heck of a lot more of these. What we found is with the applicator you get from Gtechniq, it's a small, if I'll show you, it's a circular soft applicator with foam sort of padding in the center. It's got this little slot, put your fingers into, and then you basically apply it that way. What I find with that is it can be a little inaccurate when it comes up to sort of edges of panels, whereas with this, because it's like a solid block, when I'm working the panel I can go across perfectly straight, whereas with this I'm a bit, sometimes it can be a bit of a wonk, you can end up putting a curve into it, but this seems to work a lot better. Definitely going to feed back to Rob and the guys at Gtechniq that they should look into investing in a branded Gtechniq version of this applicator, because I would definitely pay extra to have that with any of the products that we need to apply from them. I would still use something like the small cotton applicators for doing the glass and the wheels, because realistically that thing is too bulky for the wheels, and I don't think it will give the right application to the glass. But for the bodywork, not using this and using the other block, I found it reduced 30 minutes of application time, which is huge when you're trying to get vehicles in and completed to a strong time scale. So there's a bit of a mini product review. I'll put a link to where these blocks are in the description at the bottom of this video should you want to buy them, but you can take it from me that if you want to apply Crystal Serum Light or C1, then this is the way forward. With EXO as well, it worked fine with EXO. What I've actually done, so the blocks don't get mixed up, hopefully you can see that, but that says Crystal Serum on there, and after each application you have to chuck these away, but they're a nominal cost. The reason why I've labelled the block is to avoid them getting mixed up, because the product is going to seep through onto this foam padding on the inside. Now this one I used yesterday. When we use a microfiber cloth from Gtechniq and it's had a product on it, essentially that cloth is useless afterwards because it goes rock solid like cardboard, because the product will cure on it. I was worried that the base of the block would do the same thing, but in this case it's actually stayed really, really soft. So the majority of the product remained on one of these cloths. So I'll do all the product description details for the foam applicator and all the other bits and pieces. And what we're going to do now is we'll do a quick walk around on the Range Rover. I can show you that, and then I can give you a description of kind of like areas that we need to look at. The benefit in doing the panel wipe after you've done the safe wash process, the decontamination, the benefit of doing the panel wipe is you remove any kind of like chance of polish or anything that's on there. It gives a real clean base. It's a fantastic product. So it's Gtechniq panel wipe. Highly recommend that before you put in coatings on a car. This one specifically, and I'll show you. So looking at the Range Rover, you've got things like these glass pillars. So looking at the Range Rover, you've got these gloss pillars. Now, without even using the scan grip torch, you can see they're hazy. And this is a brand new car. It's done 17 miles. Now, because this plastic is so soft, it's really susceptible to damage. We noticed that these had plastic protection over the top of them, and when we removed the plastic protection, they were already damaged. Now, this still needs a good clay bar because it's still got some water spots on it, but I wanted to show you exactly what it's like straight off the production line. So even though this has just actually had a plastic sheeting put over the top of it, it's already damaged. The bodywork itself is very difficult on white cars to get the right angle, so I'll try and find a defect for you. Now, I can see one there. I'll check later on the video, but you should be able to see there's a little defect just there in the paintwork. That's pretty much predominant over the whole of the body. So we're going to go round, do a single stage over the whole of the car. Things we need to be careful of: it's got a lot of matte plastic vents on here to give it that kind of matte look, which is really nice against the gloss white, but this will need to be masked off specifically. Otherwise, you'll end up with a situation like we did on the back of the Tesla with the carbon fin. Somebody had buffed it, and there you end up with a nice shiny bit, or there's polish residue on there as well. Wheels are going to be removed, fully decontaminated. They're all matte. Again, wing mirrors are matte. Areas down here, you can see that it's very cloudy. Again, the pillars all need doing. There is one huge saving grace on this car, which is going to reduce my amount of time that I need to spend on it, and that's the fact it's got a huge glass roof. So the only bits that I need to machine is here and here, the side strips and the little section at the front of the roof. And then the glass just needs a polish with a glass polish before I apply the coatings. Oh, we're losing focus again. There we go. So I'll try and do some videos of me doing the work on this. I am going to have to keep the videos down to a minimum because I'm on a time scale and I'm on my own today. Sam was in yesterday and Dan was doing a mobile valet out in the caddy, so it's not fair to have them two in as well. And we've got a very busy week ahead, so I need them sort of like fully recharged after a day off at the weekend. We'll get started and transform this into something even more stunning. Polishing is all done. I've just literally finished doing the application of the Crystal Serum. Again, that block is brilliant, so much easier to do and so much quicker. Now what I need to do, I've got around about 2 hours before I can do anything else with the bodywork. So this is an ideal time for me to take the wheels off, and then we need to do a panel wipe on those, apply C5 wheel armour, get each one back on, and on your own it's going to be heavy. Let me just check what size wheels they are. Let's have a look. 22 inch. Good job, I had breakfast. One key very important thing that you must, well, you don't have to do it, but one thing that I like to do, because it shows that a little bit of extra detail, is to make sure that any centre caps on any wheels are in line with valve caps. Sometimes this is reversed, so the valve cap will be at the top, centre cap will be the other way around, but where possible it's always nice to have the symbol and then the valve. On a BMW MX-5 that I had recently, it's got the centre cap and then it's got a little M, so you would have centre cap, M, valve, just to keep them all in line. One wheel done. 3 other really big wheels to do, and these things are heavy. Time is 20 to 4. I think I might be in the doghouse as soon as I get back. The wife will not be happy. I basically said, oh, I'll pop in the morning, should be home by midday, no problem whatsoever. And yeah, I've still got EXO to put on the bodywork, and glass needs to be done, and interior, but wheels are done. Oh, good do they look. I've also dressed all the plastics on the outside. These things weigh a ton, and even though they're look fantastic, they're matte or satin, I suppose, in the finish, which makes it very difficult to work with in compared to a gloss finished alloy. But I'll quickly show you the other side. Battery's about to die, we'll need swapping over. See, this side is also done. All the trim. While the wheels are off, dressed all the plastics in the wheel arches with AM Dress and wiped out as much dirt as possible. Yeah, so the battery died. Where was I? Yes, so I've got to stop saying so. Glass, I've decided I'm going to come in first thing in the morning. I don't know the specific time the customer's picking the car up, but I believe we're going to aim to get it back to them around about 10. So if I get in really early in the morning, Monday morning, get that done, get the interior done, or get Sam to do the interior actually, because she's really good and very quick at getting those done. That will then just leave me today to do the EXO and then go home. It should be nice, because I quite fancy cooking a roast dinner today. Do I have pork or do I have chicken? That's the biggest dilemma of today. I'm happy with that. Anyway, I better get cracking. So that's the Range Rover, all finally coated with EXO V3. So tomorrow I'll come in and do the glass. One thing I thought I'd just quickly add, oh God, I've got to get the angle right on this. One thing I quickly add, a top tip. Once you've put the wheels back on and you've finished doing all the work and you've torqued everything up to the right settings, immediately put the locking wheel nut back in the boot. We had a scenario once where I'd said to one of our previous employees, make sure you put the locking wheel nut back in the boot, and he's like, yeah, no problem, I'll do it, don't worry, I won't forget. And then I came in the next day, phone call from the customer, he was off because having his wheels rebalanced because we'd had a full respray on them and the balancing weights needed to be put back on. And he turned up at the garage, car was up on the ramp, and they couldn't find the locking wheel nut anywhere. And where was it? Sat on the corner of the workbench because it'd been forgotten to be put back in. So there's your top tip. As soon as you finish using a tool, put it away. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. So the Range Rover is now finished. I have to be quite quick on this video because the dealership's on the way. So they came in early this morning, we did all the coating on the glass. That's all now complete, so the glass on the roof, windscreen, 3 coats of G1 to the glass on the windscreen, 2 to the sides, 2 to the roof, and the remaining thing to do is charge it up because it's just told us the battery's low. Hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Bring it on next week. Thanks very much for watching our latest vlog. If you want to see more videos and you want to be alerted every time a new one drops, then click the subscribe button at the top of our channel, and to the left of that is a little bell icon. Click on that and every time a new video gets dropped you'll get a little notification. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you've got any comments, any feedback or anything on the video, stuff that you'd like to see, please add it in the comments section below this video and I'll get back to as many people as possible. Thanks very much. Cheers. Bye. Ooh, is that a mouse?